and welcome to this Astranti video. My name's James and today I'm going to be running you through our industry analysis video for the OCS exam, the November 2019 sitting. Now of course today we are dealing with the chocolate industry, and more specifically we are dealing with Chokolate Box, our Estland based premium manufacturer and retail of chocolates. Before we go any further, I would like to explain that this video is designed to be an accompaniment to the main industry document that we produce. So my aim here is to pick out some of the key topics, key trends, key examples that I think will be of particular use to you in your exam. This video isn't designed to replace the actual industry document itself, so we do recommend you use both these products in conjunction with one another. So as usual at OCS level in this exam, you are required to take on the role of a finance officer within the particular precinct company, in this case Chokolate Box. And as you can see on screen at the moment, your main role as a finance officer within this company is to provide support to the finance manager within the business pool mayor, and this includes specific tasks such as the preparation of the annual budget for the company, producing monthly management accounts, and providing other information to management as required. And you may also have some financial accounting duties to attend to, assisting with the preparation of statements or queries regarding things like taxation and financial reporting. So now that we've sort of re-established your position within the company, we've had a little introduction, what I want to do now is I want to start by looking at the history of the chocolate industry. And I think this will be useful for several reasons. Firstly, to provide us a bit of context on the modern chocolate industry, but also to help pick out some of the key parts, key trends, key ideas from the industry which we can translate both to the modern industry but also to our precinct company, Chokolate Box. So chocolate is derived from the cocoa or the cacao bean, and it has a long and varied history which dates as far back as 1400 BC. The cocoa or cacao bean is native to Central America, also known as Mesoamerica, and we see this product, this raw ingredient, being used widely by a variety of the ancient civilizations who existed in this particular region at various points throughout history, from the Olmecs to the Mayans and the Aztecs. Interestingly enough, chocolate was originally consumed in beverage form, so almost a sort of precursor to the modern hot chocolate drinks that we all enjoy today. The addition of sugar to chocolate to sweeten it obviously is more of a modern phenomenon, and so these early chocolate drinks were extremely bitter in taste as a result, and were often consumed with additions with other ingredients such as chili or honey to mask or improve this taste. So when looking at the use of cocoa, the cacao bean, within these early Mesoamerican societies, one of the things that jumps out straight away, one of the most interesting points, is how varied this product was in terms of its uses. So we can see on the screen that the Olmecs, for instance, thought of cocoa as not actually something for personal consumption, but more a product that had medicinal and actual religious properties. Moving on to look at the Mayans then, they used cocoa beans slightly more widely. Its religious use continued. However, it also seems to crop up in other different functions, other different ways, in things such as celebrations and festivals. But also here we see the introduction of the consumption of the cocoa bean on a personal level in the sort of drinks we were just talking about. And also, interestingly, another trait we'll see when we look at the Aztecs as well, is that the value of these cocoa products was at such a high level, that they were also used as a form of currency. So even from looking at the ancient history of chocolate or the cocoa bean, what we see shining through straight away is the luxury and valuable nature of this product. So as we've seen so far, up until around the 15th century, cocoa was only consumed by Mesoamerican or Central American societies. This change following the Spanish conquest of the New World, with explorers such as Columbus and Hernan Cortes uncovering vast swathes of new territory for the Spanish crown in the 16th and late 15th centuries. What this meant is a range of new products began to filter their way back to Europe, and one of these was the cocoa bean, which was imported into Spain and was beginning to be used by the Spanish court by the late 16th century. So Spain here is really the entry point of cocoa into Europe. The Spanish court popularizes it, and then the rest of Europe is not too far behind in getting on board the cocoa train. One of the big innovations we see at this point is the bitterness of cocoa as a beverage being changed, being improved by adding sweetening ingredients like sugar or vanilla or honey, like we talked about earlier, to reduce this bitterness. And so this is quite an important innovation when you think of the sweet modern day chocolate that we enjoy. In the period between the 17th and the 19th centuries in Europe, what we really see is the growth in popularity of chocolate. And this sort of comes hand in hand a little bit with the Industrial Revolution, which had such a marked effect on so many areas of our society, including chocolate. And we see changes here both to the actual nature of chocolate products themselves, but also massive innovations in the way in which production takes place. And so on your screen in front of you, you can see a few of the key innovations in chocolate which took place during this date. So we have Dutch chemist Conrad von Houten introducing a chocolate press which allowed chocolate to be produced more cheaply and in greater quantities. And this same chemist was also responsible for a range of other innovations and developments in the production of chocolate, many of which are still visible in the industry today and in traditional chocolate producing methods to this day. And then in 1847, we see the first chocolate bars being produced by a British manufacturer, J.S. Fry. Fry's chocolate is still purchasable today. I think the brand is now owned by Cadbury. And then in 1875, we see the first milk chocolate being developed. And crucially, one of the most important aspects of this 19th century revolution in chocolate is the transformation of chocolate from a drink to a foodstuff. And in this period, we then see the development of many of the leading figures in the industry today, such as Cadbury, Nestle, and Hershey. So really here, this is a period where there is a lot of modernisation in the chocolate development process. Many of the products that we know and love today had their origins in this period. And we also see the beginnings of the mass chocolate industry begin to develop here. This then is obviously followed up by the 20th and 21st century, which, as we know, is a period where chocolate has exploded and is now a really mass consumed product. So the main thing to note here is that the early 20th century saw a bit of a shift in where cocoa is produced. We see the West African nations, which now are prominent in cocoa production, becoming dominant. And what we also see here is the increased availability of cheaper chocolate products whose cocoa presence was maybe outweighed by other additives or additions. So that links to the idea of health, which is now a key concern for the industry. So crucial points to really take away from the 20th century is this is where we really see the boom in the mass manufacture and mass availability of chocolate, which is now not quite as luxury a product as it initially was and is available on a wide scale to all different types of consumers. So how does this relate to our Precinct Company Chokolate Box? Well, I think the first point that is worth highlighting, and it's something I've touched on a bit, is the history of chocolate really highlights the luxury and exotic nature of chocolate as a product. As we talked about, mass production has made chocolate highly accessible to modern consumers. However, this hasn't completely dampened the idea that chocolate is a luxury, an indulgent product. And this is sort of reflected by the increase in the premium market in the modern chocolate market today. So this really sort of highlights that for a premium manufacturer like Chokolate Box, who produces luxury, indulgent, decadent products, there is a decent market out there for the company to exploit. The development of the chocolate industry after the Industrial Revolution also highlights the way that the industry is still intertwined with sort of innovation, both in terms of new production technologies, but also in terms of the development of new product types. And this is an issue that is still highly important today, with things such as R&D and product development absolutely vital functions as part of Chokolate Box's operations. And finally, the history of the industry sort of touches on a range of the key issues that are affecting the industry today, or gives the sort of basis for these ideas. So some of the labour issues that the industry still deals with today, but also some of the issues relating to the health impact of chocolate can be hinted at, or their origins can be discerned in this industry. And these are key challenges for Chokolate Box to contend with as it looks to continue to grow its business. So the first example I'd like to sort of bring to your attention and talk through a little bit is one concerning British chocolate giant Cadbury, who suffered a bit of a legal setback in February when they lost a legal battle regarding their trademark purple colour. So Cadbury's purple is a really iconic part of the company's brand. I think if you asked any British person about Cadbury as a brand, one of the things that they would think of first would be the colour purple, the particular shade of purple that the company uses in its branding. However, this legal setback resulted in the company being forced to give up the trademark on this particular colour. And essentially what this legal reverse means for Cadbury is it's harder now for the company to prevent its rivals and its competitors using a similar shade of purple in their operations and their branding. So what does this mean for Chokolate Box? Why do I think it's relevant? Well, I think essentially it just shows, firstly, the competitive nature of the chocolate industry. Cadbury was willing to go to court to preserve the trademark on its sort of standout purple colour, this key aspect of its branding. And I think this also shows, obviously, the need to have an innovative and attractive brand to make yourself stand out from competitors in this industry. We don't know a huge amount about Chokolate Box's branding, but what we do know is that the company's sales and marketing director, Josephine Jerome, has strong experience in the chocolate industry. And so we can sort of assume that using her experience, the company has a fairly sort of sophisticated and high quality brand going on. Having watched this sample, we'd like to take the opportunity to draw your attention to a few of the other products that Astranti offer in relation to the case study exams. Now, the first of these is a study text, and this study text is available for all three of the CIMA case study levels. This study text contains comprehensive advice on how to pass the relevant level case study exam. This is advice ranging from tips on how the exams are actually marked and what you need to do to get these marks, all the way through to actually writing style and other key advice. These study texts are then supplemented by course videos, and again these course videos touch on some of the key ideas that you need to abide by, that you need to be aware of when looking to pass your case study exams. For individual sittings, we then produce pre-scene analysis videos. Now, these are a range of videos where an expert in the office dissects the pre-scene in minute detail, bringing out some of the key points that you need to be aware of, and really giving you a thorough understanding of the company for you to take into your exam. These pre-scene analysis videos are then supplemented by our industry analysis pack. Now you'll be aware of this if you just watched our sample video, but essentially what this pack contains is an analysis on the industry behind the fictional case study company. So we look at the industry itself, competitors, things like that, really dig into detail here so you don't have to do this as part of your revision. And then crucially, we compare this to the case study company. So what we have here is a video that you've just seen a sample of, but the main thing we produce in this regard is an industry analysis document. On top of these products, we then produce mock exams. So there'll be a range of different mock exams for each case study sitting. And these are designed to be as real life as possible, as close to the real life exam as possible. So we provide not only a range of mock questions, but we also provide comprehensive, detailed model solutions, if you like. So you can compare your answers with the model solutions produced by our experts in-house. On top of this, you can then also choose to have the solutions that you create to our mock exams marked and then personalized feedback provided by CIMA qualified accountants. Now, on top of all these options, we also offer a comprehensive masterclass. And what this masterclass is really good for is those sorts of people who maybe have decided to study for the exam at the last minute, or those of you who just want a sort of comprehensive overview of everything that the exam will cover. And so these are comprehensive recordings which you can either watch live or which you can watch as recordings, covering everything you need to know about the exam. And finally, we do have a lot of confidence in the quality of our material. So if you purchase our full course pack, and if you don't pass your exam, unfortunately, using this pack, then we will offer you a pass guarantee. Essentially, we will provide you with free materials for the next course sitting. So all that's left for me to say is, once again, thank you very much for watching this video and best of luck in your exam from everyone here at Astranti.